Hello, hello, hello. We're here to talk about the newest Doctor Who. This is the Dope. I'm Maui. Hope you guys are having a good Tuesday. Super excited to talk about this most recent episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think the series has been a lot of fun, even though I do have a lot of issues with it. It's been a good watch. I'm really excited to talk about it. And to join me as we talk every week about Doctor Who is my good friend Stephanie. I'm gonna summon her with my new Sonic. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see. Oh, look, it worked.
It did. Our Sonic's connected.
Ermagerd immersing.
Hello.
Hello. Um, so yeah, we actually got to watch this episode together.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Was our first time watching Doctor Who together. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so this is Survivors of the Flux. Non-spoilery thoughts. Was that this was a really fun adventure-y, like swashbuckling kind of episode. And I really dug that tone.
Mm-hmm.
Um Also a lot of answers that I was happy to get, but also some things just happened too fast. That's kind of just like my non like without getting into spoilers, just like my like kind of like non-spoiler thoughts about this episode. What about you?
Yeah, I second everything that you said. I thought this episode was super cinematic, and I don't think that is just because we got to watch it on a big screen. I think it was also just kind of a very intense, fast-paced episode, like you said. Um, I loved seeing the return of some characters from earlier in the Flux series and earlier in the show. I just thought it was a very, very exciting, very like bam, 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 lots of stuff happening.
Yep. Um yeah, so you as you mentioned, we got to watch it on a larger than normal screen. That's because we attended Chicago TARDIS this past weekend, this Thanksgiving weekend. It was my first time attending the con, where Stephanie has been going for like the last decade. It was a lot of fun. It
Yeah.
is a fan made, fan led con, and I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I enjoyed it more, I think, than I have enjoyed the larger cons in recent years. Perhaps because it was more intimate. I was able to talk to people. I didn't feel so like overwhelmed by like the size and scope of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Did you enjoy yourself at the convention this weekend?
Yes, I always enjoy myself at Chicago TARDIS. It's so nice to kind of just be around people who love the show as much as I do, and seeing old and familiar faces. And I got this really sad thought today, Maui. It occurred to me that this is a big deal for me since I've been going for a long time. This will probably be the last Chicago TARDIS where Jodie is the Doctor,
Hmm.
and then next year we'll probably have a new Doctor to be excited about and talk about at the con. I remember my first Chicago TARDIS after Jodie got announced before she had even had any episodes out. Just the excitement and the buzz, and people already cosplaying as her. I'm sad that this will be our last Jodie Chicago TARDIS, but also I'm also really excited to see what people will show up as next year.
Yeah. The next TARDIS will likely be in between the end of Jodie's run. I think her last special will be sometime next fall.
Mm-hmm.
And the start of the next series after that. So I'm wondering how long we're gonna have to wait in between that.
Oh, I don't even want to
Because as
think
far
about
as I know, she's finished filming everything,
it. Mm-hmm.
right, including the specials, right?
Yep.
But they're spreading it out over, you know, a lot of next year. We have New Year's, Easter, and then sometime in the fall. So hopefully
Interesting.
that means we don't have to wait long for the next Doctor. Maybe we get a Christmas special to kick it off, as Russell T Davies loved his Christmas specials.
I guess we'll see. I don't know. I have like no faith in Doctor Who coming back quickly now. Like
Mhm.
you used to be able to count on it every year like a normal TV show, and now I feel like they're kind of like the fans will always come back no matter how long we make them wait. So I'm just like, yeah, what you gonna do about it? Sucks.
Yeah. Um, let me put a quick
Spoiler banner.
spoiler warning at the bottom here. Okay, and show. Okay. So let's start off. The first scene picks up right where we left off. Jodie has been turned into a weeping angel. We see her reverting back to her normal form, and she's in some weird nether realm surrounded by angels, and she's talking to the angels. She's kind of monologuing, kind of. I felt like it was almost like an exposition dump of like, here's where we're at right now in the show type of
Yeah.
thing, and they're just kind of reinforcing like, oh, we did it just because like we wanted to be assholes type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, and so like that's kind of our opening, and then she loses consciousness again, turns back into a weeping angel, and then we cut to the companions. So before we get to the companions, which is actually probably my favorite part of this episode, was the companion storyline. Um, what did you think about that opening? Because I have to admit, like, I personally was a little disappointed with the opening myself. Like, I was just like, oh, okay, like it's immediately over. Like, there was no reason to turn her into Weeping Angel except that it looked cool. It was only going to last a few seconds. It was never going to be a thing she had to figure her way out of.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like I know a lot of people were thinking that this was going to be a Dr. Light episode because they didn't show any of her being not a weeping angel in the trailer. And it always reminds me of Supernatural, spoilers if you guys are still behind on that show, of when Dean got turned into a demon, and we were so excited and so pumped all summer for him to be a demon, and then he was a demon for like an episode and a half.
Mhm.
And that underwhelming feeling is like the worst, and I definitely felt that with Jodie instantly not being an angel, or with the Doctor instantly not being an angel anymore too.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember wanting Dean to just be the big bad for the entire season.
Yeah, and it didn't last long at all, and we were all
Yeah.
just like, ah.
I mean, eventually the demon took back over for a little bit, but like not much.
Yeah, it was underwhelming.
Yeah. And similarly here, yeah, absolutely. I love that comparison. Um, we then cut to the companions, and they've been stranded for 3 years in the early 1900s. It started in 1901. It's now 1904. I love. Okay, I will preface this by saying I love the storyline. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's my favorite part of the episode.
Yeah,
But
and
I
you were
thought
really
about it.
worried. You were really worried about the companions being trapped without the Doctor.
Okay, and this is my problem with it,
Mhm.
because as far as I remember, at the end of last week's episode of the Village of the Angels, they weren't just stuck in 1901. They were stuck on a floating island in the middle of space
Oh yeah, I
in
forgot about
1901.
that.
So my question is, how the hell did they escape that? Because we don't see that. It's just 3 years later, and apparently they have access to the entire world. They're no longer trapped in this thing, and they never, as far as I could tell, explain that.
Hmm.
So I don't understand.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of moments in this whole special series so far where there's some sort of jump that never gets explained.
Yes.
And that happens between scenes and between episodes and between like the storyline in general. That's definitely a problem we're having with these episodes.
Yeah. But like I said, it's still my favorite. It is still my favorite storyline
Right.
in this episode.
You get past
Um,
that and it's like very entertaining.
it it is the tone that I wish like the whole like series was, or maybe even like the entirety of Jodie's run. It felt like an Indiana Jones kind of send up. I really dug that, and Yaz, Dan, and Jericho were a great team. It was
Yeah,
really fun to see
they
them
were.
together.
I loved seeing Jericho again. I was so glad that he was back and not like
Yeah.
left behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like it also kind of reminded me of like Adventures of Tintin. It's like those like old school, like pulpy, like globe trotting adventure book type of things.
Yeah, yeah,
It was a lot of fun. There was a hermit in Nepal that they run into. That like that scene is amazing. He's like super lonely and like enjoys taking the piss out of people, and so
yeah,
he's just like messing with them. And
yeah.
that was so much fun. I loved that. Um, and Jericho, like we had no idea that Jericho was going to be like a part of this. Like seemingly, came out of the blue, but seems to be an important part of the story. Like he's now one of the companions.
Mm-hmm.
But the weird thing is that this whole season is separating the companions from the Doctor, and that's so weird.
I don't like it. I don't love it.
Yeah, it's super strange, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why like it's just a weird choice because like she has really been removed from her support system. It's kind of interesting in the sense that she's constantly off balance in this. I kind of find that to be interesting,
Mm-hmm.
but I really miss the dynamic. That like is one of the core tenets of Doctor Who is like the Doctor and their companions.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. So like yeah, they also had so they get the clue from the hermit in Nepal, says, like fetch your dog or something like that
Mhm.
was the line that
Yeah,
he had for them. I didn't understand how this person had this information.
he
Th-
was like psychic.
yeah, I guess. But Yaz's idea of how to like get they figure out, oh, he's talking about Carvanista, and Yaz's idea of like painting the Carvanista where 1904 like come get us was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
um though I confess maybe I just missed this because we were watching it, with a crowd of people and there was a lot of cheering happening. um I confess that I didn't understand why they had to go to the Great Wall of China to leave that message.
I didn't get that either.
Yeah. Maybe because it was like
It's a landmark you can see from space. Maybe that's why.
yeah, maybe that's the reason why.
Now that I'm saying it, it makes sense.
Yeah. I wonder how long it took them to paint all that because it was huge. If
And
you
they
could
were
see
using
it.
a lot of paint. They were just swapping it on.
Yeah, yeah. What did you? Okay, so those are my thoughts about that kind of that strand of the episode. What were your thoughts on that storyline?
I was really enjoying it. Like you said, we discussed last episode, we were worried about all this time that had passed when we saw that there was going to be a bit of a time jump. But I think they handled that really well. Like, quickly explain what they've been doing all this time without getting hung up on it, without getting bogged down with the boring stuff they did, and like shows their adventures that they're going on now and how they're figuring. And it was, I don't know why it never occurred to us. Like, the Doctor can't jump to them because of this weird rule that Stephen Moffat made, and she's busy doing her own shit, right? But other aliens can, you know. So I thought that was
Yeah,
kind of like a nice way to get around that weird narrative that Stephen Moffat made with the Weeping Angels.
yeah. I was wondering that too. Like, is this like their way around the Doctor not being able to retrieve them? Is
Yeah.
that they just get retrieved by Carvanista? Um, but then I was also thinking, but wait, would the TARDIS like want to reject them because of their weird temporal energy now that they've been displaced? Maybe the TARDIS wouldn't like carrying them. I don't know. I'm
Sometimes
very
the
confused
artist
about
gets
that rule.
like pissed off about the weirdest things.
Yeah.
Um,
Um. uh. Oh. we finally figure out about that Joseph Williamson dude in their storyline too. The guy with the top hat. I mean, we know a little bit more about it.
Still confusing.
I still don't understand like how, but apparently, he had visions or something of this, universe-ending event, and felt compelled to dig these tunnels, and these tunnel leads to other worlds.
Yes.
But we
Something like
don't. But we don't understand how he made them yet. And so the reason we keep seeing him popping up in different places in time, is because he is going through the doors looking for someone, maybe the doctor. I'm not quite sure. So we understand who he is and the reason why he made the tunnels. We don't understand how he made the tunnels though. So that was weird, but at least we understand that a little bit better now.
A little bit.
Yeah. Over to the doctor. Well, let's talk about Belle and Vendor first because they don't have a lot of screen time in this. Frustratingly, soon as she arrives at the place where they're going to meet up, she gets pulled away because apparently the ship she is in is one of the Lupari ships. I was very confused as to how that happened, or maybe that was always the case, but like that means that she was at Earth at some point and stole the ship. So that was really confusing. I was like, wait, what?
Do you think it's possible that there had to be a ton of cuts to these episodes and that's why there's all these like chunks of script that seem to be missing?
I don't know. I think they're just like, yeah, just go with it. I think they're just kind of glossing over the connective tissue of how they're getting from point A to point B.
Yeah, because I feel like it is like that. Like for a split second, you're like, wait, how did we get here? But then you have to kind of ignore that to keep following the story because there's so much going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. And then Vendor appears right after she leaves. He even hears the sound of her leaving as he appears, and I think he figures out that was her and that he just missed her. But he also stumbles upon Swarm and Azure, and
and you got to see her makeup, your favorite makeup.
I still hate her makeup
on the big screen.
We see them expending like killing humans to like gain their energy or something to power whatever their thing is that they're trying to do.
Yeah,
I still don't quite understand what they're doing.
Super culty.
Yeah. But they end up capturing. Your mom said we're helping her fill in some blanks from the episode. They end up capturing Vendor and placing him inside one of the passenger forms, where he meets Di, Dan's love interest from Liverpool.
We forgot about this because there's so much going on.
She's been stuck in there since episode 2. Yeah. So we see that. I thought that was, I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we're, the threads are all starting to converge. This is good. And that's really about it for them. We didn't really get much of that. Hey, Michelle, we just finished watching it before you went live. Cool. Let us know what you thought about it in the comments. Okay, let's get to the main storyline, which is the doctor. I hear Deacon. That's adorable.
I know he's like really loud right now.
Yeah. Oh, Deacon's in heaven right now. That's super cute. Is the doctor. We find out who that mysterious woman is. I think I guessed this like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Like, I thought this was pretty obvious. Like the moment we saw that lady, I was pretty sure that who it was, and it is Tecteun, who is the Gallifreyan who found the doctor uh, you know, is the head of Division.
Mm-hmm.
And we even learn what Division is doing. So Division made the Flux, and they are destroying the universe so that they can move into a new universe.
Mm-hmm.
Because reasons? Do you
Because
understand why they want to destroy our universe?
so I think the OG plan was to destroy it while the Doctor was in it, but then the Doctor started meddling, so they took the Doctor out of it. I kind of guess I filled in the blanks in my head with this and was kind of like, well, maybe they're just pissed off because the Doctor interferes, and this is kind of like a Time Lord thing. Time Lords hated this when the Doctor interfered with things and saved people and completely fucked up our universe by saving people who are never meant to be saved and that kind of stuff. So they're like, we'll just start off. We're just gonna go to the other universe, wipe this one clean. We don't need it anymore. Too much interference.
Yeah. I don't know. The reasons seem very thin, and maybe I'll understand it better in the finale. But maybe not, because they kill Tecteun in this episode. I'm hoping that's a red herring, and perhaps they have not been killing people, because I'll be really frustrated if we finally have the person that can give the answers there. A person that we can build up some weight behind. This is potentially a person that could be a very big villain in the universe, akin to the Master. The Doctor's mother, the Doctor's overbearing, universe, domineering mother.
Oh, you're right. That would be awesome.
Right. And we kill her. Very, very disappointed in that move, because I found that very interesting. As far as I can tell, the reason they wanted to Tecteun wanted to destroy the universe with the Doctor in it is because the Doctor inspires hope in people and people to rebel. But the Doctor didn't know about the plan to begin with. So like I don't understand like the need for all of that. It just seemed very like I could see the hand of the writer. Like the writer's like, oh, but we need to get the two of them in a room together. We need to do the reveal of the the fob watch, and we need to do all these things. And I didn't really understand the moves that led to those moments, even though I did enjoy it. I really had a good time watching it. It's like these are the things that like my brain starts to bump up against. Like, wait, but why? But why?
Maybe we aren't meant to think anymore.
Yeah, and perhaps it all comes together in the next episode.
We have been seeing a lot of that too, like our answers and our grievances coming to light.
Yeah,
your questions. That being said,
right. So Michelle said the Doctor interfered with what they wanted for the universe, so they decided to leave it behind because the Doctor kept interfering, kept saving and the universe from the things the Division was trying to do. They didn't want the Doctor to be in the universe when she found out the situation, so that she couldn't inspire people to fight it. I get all of that, but like I don't understand what they've been doing. That she's been like, I guess I don't understand the moves because the Division hasn't existed until this mini series. I don't see the moves they're talking about, and because they killed the person that has been making the moves, I will likely never know what those moves are. So like it sounds cool, but it doesn't really have any like narrative weight. To me, I think is my biggest issue with it. But like I said, it is a lot of fun. Similarly, killing Tecteun isn't that big of a deal to me because I haven't had time to invest in the character.
I know, it's just kind of sucks. Like,
yeah,
because you want so much more out of her, both of her as a villain and the information she's holding and her relationship with the Doctor.
Yes. Yeah, I think those are all of the major plot lines of this episode. Michelle said, "True. What has the Division been doing? Tecteun made it sound like they were choosing which societies developed and how throughout history." Yeah, I would have loved to hear what that was. Like, what if Tecteun was behind the creation of the Daleks? What if Tecteun was behind the creation of the Cybermen? Right? Like, these were ways to like,
put some meat behind it
to subjugate the universe. like give me some more, right? Some more weight behind it. And for the love of God, don't, like I really hope that like they're not killing her. Like I'm hoping that that's a red herring, and that we find out, because I think in the trailer for the next episode we see that happening to the doctor. I
Mhm.
think.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
It was late, and we
yeah.
were with a lot of people, and there was a lot of cheering. So I'm not quite sure if that's what I saw,
They were really
but I
loud.
thought that I saw like a quick shot of the doctor disintegrating, which leads me to believe that that's a red herring. Um, what's odd is we're watching the show with subtitles and they aren't calling that character Tecteun. Yeah, so the name
Oh.
that they gave her when she first appeared, I think in the second episode, was Awsok, Awsok. So they might have been using that name, and I don't know why Tecteun had the name Awsok. And they don't really explain it in the show. I found that out from the credits is where I
Mm.
where I sussed out the name for that.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, this, and I wasn't convinced. I was like, I'm pretty sure this is Tecteun. Because then why introduce her? And if we're directly dealing with the timeless child, like I felt like they almost had to bring her into the story
Mhm.
at that point. It was the only character that made sense, as opposed to like bringing in yet another new character that we've never heard of before. You bring in that character to swing it back around to the timeless child storyline, so that it feels like it has weight and that it's been around a lot longer than it actually has been. Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting.
Mhm.
It's Yeah, no, I do think it is Tecteun. I do think it is Tecteun. I don't think that she's lying. I don't think it's an unreliable narrator situation. Um, we see that there's the watch that has Jodie's memories. Um, that's interesting. Um, I Now correct me if I'm wrong. That watch does more than just take someone's memory. It's supposed to take their entire like time lordiness, like their essence, and
Yeah,
turn
but
them
I think
human.
it can be a multifaceted tool.
Yeah, I guess. But
I
like
just I just
once,
love seeing those callbacks. It just makes me happy.
yeah, I really dug the whispers, and she's like, "Do you hear that?" She's freaking out.
Mhm.
That was really really cool. Um,
What I thought was funny about that situation is like Tectoon didn't put it like on a high shelf or in a cage or anything. Like it was just kind of in a like I feel like the doctor could have just gone pluck. Thank you. you know.
right.
It was right in front of her, like just break it and take your memories back. What are
No,
you
it was in the dome thing from Beauty and the Beast that the rose was in.
Yeah.
Right? Because obviously Tecton is a big Disney stan and got like the prop, you know, from Disneyland of what they put the rose in, and put her daughter's memories in there.
That was kind of to me.
I am excited for Jodie to open that up and get her, or maybe she will decide against it. I don't know, but like it would be interesting. It's going to be an interesting choice to see.
Yeah.
Like, does she open it? I think they once again. I think in the next time on, they might have shown um Azure opening the fob watch.
Mhm.
I think, but like, yeah, that could be interesting because she has no connection, no emotional connection to those memories. So to see that happen would be great. In terms of making this part of the universe.
Mhm.
If the doctor actually remembers all of these things, that would really be a strong step toward that.
Mhm.
um and then perhaps the specials are dealing with the fallout of her now, understanding like the full weight of her life. The other interesting thing that Tectone says before she's offed is that the universe that they plan on going to is where the wormhole led, where she found the doctor. Because the doctor pointed out, how do you know I came from that universe? Maybe I was waiting there for somebody, maybe we were going back there. So if I am from or maybe I'm from here and we were going to go there. You don't know, you just found me outside this thing. You don't actually know that I'm from this universe, likely we get an answer for that. But it's interesting that they're bringing in the multiverse, because that seems to be a trend throughout pop culture right now.
Yeah.
And now, as a comic book fan, I have been into multiverse stuff since like the 80s, right? Since a kid reading comic books, mid 80s, the Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was a way for the DC universe to clean up its convoluted history, because there were so many different planets, or so many different like universes, and so many different convoluted like wibbly wobbly things. So they did that. Marvel, same thing. And you see them, both of those companies right now, exploring multiverses again. DC, the new Flash movie is going to have the Michael Keaton Batman in it from that universe. On TV, on the Flash, they did the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Marvel, this phase is all about the multiverse. With Loki, with the Spider-Man No Way Home is going to likely have both the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and it's been confirmed that we have villains from both of those eras as well. Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Sandman, Electro, Lizard. It's wild. And it's weird that all of these big properties are kind of like following that.
And Doctor Who has done the multiverse before. That's how I learned about, alternate universes and stuff way back with Rose. But yeah, it is interesting that they're kind of jumping on that train again.
Yeah. We the one storyline we forgot to mention was the Unit storyline.
Oh yeah.
That was interesting. The Grand Serpent, don't know why he's doing what he's doing. Because when we saw him in Vender's Memories, I didn't get a sense that he was meddling with stuff on Earth.
I couldn't figure out where we've seen him before.
He is the guy that destroyed Vender's career, the guy that was doing the illegal stuff that Vender was the whistleblower for. And when he blew the whistle on him, that's what got him sent to the Rose outpost in the middle of nowhere.
Why are we adding new plot lines this late in the series is the real question.
Well, I'm wondering if he is working for Swarm and Azure.
Yeah, with his weird snakes.
Yeah. That was super creepy.
Very unsettling.
And I don't know if he and so we get to see Kate Stewart, the Brigadier's daughter.
I talk about like not really wanting any more new storylines, but anything to see Kate. I love her.
Yeah, I love her too. And she called Osgood, which made me happy as well. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
They better not fucking hurt her.
When we were watching it, and it looked like she was about to get blowed up. Somebody in the audience, I think it was the cosplayer that was there as the Weeping Doctor, screamed like, "Don't you fucking dare!" when she thought that she was gonna die. That was hilarious.
Mood.
Yeah, but basically that storyline was manipulating. We're seeing him manipulating Unit throughout its history. We even get to hear the Brigadier for a split second in the background, like. I can't remember what the soundbite was, but we do get to hear the Brigadier for just a split second, which I thought was lovely. And oh no, we do figure out who he's working for. He is working for the Centaurans,
Oh yeah.
which is still completely disconnected from the actual storyline of the Flux. Like I kind of wish it wasn't there so that we could have more screen time devoted to understanding the Flux and the
Yeah.
Doctor and the companions. But the Centaurans are still trying to take over the Earth because the Centauran planted the flag back in the 70s.
Doctor Who.
Right. It's interesting because it's I guess within the universe one of the few places that are left in the universe. Most of the universes are already destroyed, as we found out when the Ood shows Jodie the map of the universe, and she's like, "Where's the rest of it?"
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah, and when we've seen it throughout, we've seen the destruction that the Flux has done. Though I don't feel like they've done a good job of really showing the destruction. We have seen it. I just don't think that it has been communicated very well.
Yeah, we've seen it, but it hasn't been communicated.
Yeah. So there were those sequences. Anything else about that storyline? Is the one that we didn't touch on.
I just want to see it tie back into the story. I want it to make sense. And I want Kate to come back, and I don't want her to get hurt.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. All right, so let's go into we every week we read the Guardians Deeper into the Vortex. They kind of like describe all the little Easter eggs in the episode. Let's see what they say here. The first thing they say is, "It was a delight to hear the tones of the late Nicholas Courtney in Doctor Who again. He first appeared is Brett Vian in the Daleks' Master Plan with Hartnell, but later on he played the Colonel and then eventually Brigadier Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart in Doctor Who. From 1968's The Web of Fear to 1993's Dimensions in Time, featuring 24 stories alongside every Doctor from Troughton to McCoy. His final television appearance in the role was in 2008 in the Sarah Jane Adventures episode Enemy of the Bane. Courtney died in 2011. The line that Courtney says in the background is, "Lethbridge Stewart here. I want a call to the RAF, please." This was dialogue taken from part 4 of Terror of the Autons, broadcast on 23rd January 1971.
Wow, that's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everyone in the audience got very excited when we heard that.
Yes. The reference to the post office tower business was talking about the 1966 Hartnell story, The War Machines. I don't remember hearing the post office tower. I think I missed that line of dialogue. Redgrave, I'm assuming they're referring to Gemma Redgrave, who plays Kate Stewart, first appeared as the Brigadier's daughter in 2012's Power of Three. This was the 7th episode in which she has appeared to date.
That was also so long ago.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe it's been since 2012. Michelle said that they did hear the post office tower line and wondered what they were referencing. Also said, I don't know who this person is. Who's McNally? I don't know who this actor they're referring to is, but they said someone named McNally has been in Doctor Who before. He played Hugo Lane in Colin Baker's generally poorly regarded first story as the 6th Doctor in Twin Dilemma. It is nice to see him given a brilliant character to play on the show. I would assume that's Eustachius. Eustachius, what's his face? I can't think of his last name. Eustachius, what's his face? With the companions.
What's the actor's name? I'll look him up.
McNally. I think it's Kevin McNally. If that's the character I think they're talking about, I think it's Kevin McNally. Why can't I think of Eustachius' last name?
Because it's another
Jericho. Eustachius Jericho. That's the last name.
Yeah, you're right.
And then the last thing that they pointed out was that this was the last regular episode of Jodie Whittaker's era that isn't a season finale or a special.
Oh, don't hurt me like that.
Yeah. So yeah, all in all, a rip-roaring good time. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I have noticed that every episode feels completely different than the episode before. Like even down to like the rhythm of the episode feels different. Which doesn't really make it feel like a mini series to me somehow. Like even though it is all one big story, it feels so disconnected episode to episode. Oh no, what happened to Stephanie? She turned into a spinning thing. Or maybe I'm the one that's gone. People, can you see me or can you see Stephanie? I don't know. I'm going to keep talking until someone says that they can't hear me. Yeah, so it just feels so disconnected episode to episode, and I wish it was a bit more consistent in tone and pacing. But I will say I think this is the best that Chibnall has done since taking over the show as showrunner. I'm curious to know what other people think, and I'm curious to know if people can hear me or not. I'm hoping that people can still hear me because I've completely lost Stephanie at this point. Oh, I think she's back. Okay.
My computer died with no warning. So rude.
Oh, I hope your computer's okay. So yeah, I was just going on about how the pacing of the show is just kind of driving me bonkers. The fact that like every episode feels like different, right? Like the first episode was like very keyed into what the big story was supposed to be. The second episode felt like a complete aside. The third episode felt like it was back in the pocket. But like each episode just feels very, very different. So that's kind of what I was going on and on about just now.
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. It feels more like it should just be a regular season as opposed to, you know, they've made this big deal about it being a 6 parts, the same story, you know?
Yeah. So going into the final episode, do you have any thoughts, any wants? I know you don't really have any predictions per se, but do you have anything that you're hoping to see?
I want to see the rest of the loose ends tied up.
Mm-hmm.
I want lots of like, oh moments, you know, when something finally clicks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I had a lot of emotions when Tectuin was offering that ultimatum of you know, you come to the next universe with me and I'll let you have your memories, or you can stay here and save your planet. Because the acting was so well done, you could just see how badly the Doctor wants those answers. But, and it occurred to me right before she said it, the Doctor will never choose anything over Earth.
No.
And I don't know, I felt so strongly that those lost memories that the Doctor has, how badly she wants them back. I want to see her get her memories back. I want it. I want the storyline, and I want it to be continued to be uncovered. I want that to be a new Doctor Who kind of like recurring thing. That would just make me really happy, because I feel like it would make the Doctor really happy.
Yeah. So your computer's back.
Sorry.
You're fine. So my thoughts, my hopes. Here's a crazy prediction.
Okay.
Like that just popped into my brain as you were talking. What if Belle and Vinder are the Doctor's parents, and that Belle is pregnant with the Doctor?
Okay, I've seen also other people theorizing that.
Have there? Oh, that makes
And
me happy.
for the first time that I read it, it felt like a massive spoiler because suddenly it felt so obvious. But it never clicked in my head that their storyline is happening alongside this storyline. I always thought it was happening in the future or the past or something. I don't know why. But now that it's happening right alongside this one, that theory seems less likely to me.
Maybe, but
But
doesn't
it
matter
is
because
Doctor
right, because it's so wibbly wobbly.
Who. But yeah, I have seen other people saying that, and it felt too spoilery. See, my mom is mad about it now too.
I'm just saying, what if? What if?
That was me and my mom were talking the other day that we'd seen theories online that felt too spoilery, and we didn't share it with each other. That's what I was talking about, Mom.
I don't feel like spoilery unless it's true.
Well, you do have a tendency to guess the endings before they happen.
But like that could be interesting. Like if you won like an oh shit moment, if you realized that like oh shit, like we're seeing the doctor's parents because like they kind of have that like North Star compass, like just internal goodness about them and adventuriness about them
Mhm.
that the doctor had. Like both of them have that, you know?
Uh-huh.
And yeah, that could be
I'm loving watching you
interesting.
discover this.
That could be interesting. It just popped into my head like while you were I don't know what it was about what you were saying. But yeah, that could be. That could be.
My mom's real upset about us having this conversation in the comments.
Well, I haven't seen what people are theorizing online, so I don't know that that's like I don't know like if they might have more evidence. I'll like now I need to go back and
Mhm.
look through it again with that in mind. But I feel like that could be a thing,
It could definitely be a thing.
and if they if she ends up having the baby like in between the universes or so like similarly to like how River Song was like born in the
Oh,
time
stop,
vortex.
Molly. It feels too right. It feels like like I'm hearing something I shouldn't hear.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I
I'm just
guess
throwing
we'll
it out
find
there.
out.
I'm just throwing it out there. I think that could be very interesting.
And
Um
if that's not the case, then we write fan fiction.
yeah, yeah. If I'm wrong,
We
I'm wrong.
write fan fiction.
So yeah, I think that would be interesting. Other things I'm hoping for. Um I would like to understand where Swarm and Azure are from. Like, I still don't understand what their beef is.
Yeah, and are they the bad guys? Are they
They
good?
were
They the good guy?
right, right, because like they were being taken down by Division, but Division seems to be the bad guys. So, like, are they actually bad guys?
Yeah.
They seem to be bad guys, but is that a red herring? And they're just trying to take down Division, but their methods are bad. They're like, are they like Universal Killmonger type of
Mhm.
characters? I don't know. Um, so I would love to understand like their actual backstory.
Mhm.
Um, I would really, really like to see the Doctor and the companions together. And I hope that
Yeah.
Jericho has a meaty role in the finale because I really dig Jericho.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to see him go.
Yeah. So those are our thoughts about this episode. We have ranked every episode higher than the last, 1 through 4. So now that we're at 5, where do you rank 5? Do you rank this highest? Are you continuing that trend, or would you put it somewhere in the middle?
I think I'm sticking 5 between 3 and 4.
Oh.
I liked it a lot, but I think the 4th episode is still my favorite one. So it would go 1, 2, 3, 5, 4.
Okay. I'm putting this at the top.
All right.
But I am moving one of the other episodes down one.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I can do whatever I want. I rewatched Village of the Angels. And I liked it less.
Really?
The second time.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm dropping it down to the middle of the pack. So for me, it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 4, 3, 5.
Oh shit! All right.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, but I think that this was a really good penultimate chapter that's setting up a really strong finish.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
I'm really ready to watch it just all go like come together and then like blow our minds.
Yeah. that is the hope. All right, that is it for us. We're gonna log off here. We will see you for the finale. We should talk about trying to do something special for the finale.
Oh, like make cookies or something?
No, like a virtual like watch party or something with like Doctor Who, like with our Doctor Who peeps, like people that we know that watch Doctor Who, like some sort of virtual watch party, like where we can like, you know, message each other during it. Like if we could like, you know, watch it, you know, synchronized or something like that. Or maybe like invite a bunch of people right after it's over to like talk about it, like get a couple more people on something like that.
Yeah. We'll watch this space. We'll post if we come up with a plan.
Yes. All right. Let's log off.
Okay. Wait, where's my okay.